Hello students and anyone else who may be watching from home. My name is Mr. Borges, and today we're going to be getting started with TinkerCAD, right? TinkerCAD.com. So you're going to go to TinkerCAD.com and I'm going to show you how to get started. So TinkerCAD is a pretty cool website, right? It's free for anybody to use. We've got it set up. We've got a classroom set up in there. I've got a class code that is either available in a Google Classroom or you can check in your email for what our specific class code is. What we're going to do is we're going to use TinkerCAD to create 3D designs, right? Basically, we're going to build more complicated things out of more simple shapes, and then we can do things with our 3D designs. We can export them from TinkerCAD, and then we can bring them into Minecraft and create things in our Minecraft world. We can send them to 3D printer and print our creations. There's a lot of different things we can do once we've created our 3D models in TinkerCAD. So here's what you're going to do, right? You're going to go to tinkercad.com, and then you see this page here. You're going to go ahead and click Join Now that first time. And then in green here where it says Students Join a Class, you're going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to ask you for your class code. Now I've got a class code. This ain't your class code. You don't type that in there, right? You've got your own class code. Is a fake class code. You've got a real class code. Every period, every year has its own class code. And you have to go check that. It's going to be in the Google Classroom. You're going to be able to go see what our class code is, and you're going to have to cut and paste or type that in there. I'm going to go ahead and click Go to My Class, and you're going to see here it says, it's usually faster than this. There it goes. Not a real class. See, this is not a real class. Don't be using that class code. That's not real. And I'm going to delete this class as soon as I'm done, this fake class, as soon as I'm done making this video. So I've already set up your class. So if you're in my first period cell class, it should say, instead of not a real class, it'll say Mr. Borges, first period cell, or second period, or whatever period of the day that we're together. And it says type your nickname. Your nickname is going to be your regular old that you use when you're logging into your single sign-in, when you log on to a Morongo Unified School District computer. It's your first name, last name, and the last two digits of your student ID. So for me, that would be my first name, last name, and the last two digits, right? Please don't type Joseph.Borges99. Right? That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to type your own first name, last name, and the last two digits of your student ID number. It's that same thing that you're probably already used to typing every time you use a school computer or go into our single sign-in. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and click That's Me. And it recognizes me. Now you use your own class code, which is different than the one I used, and then you would use your username. All right, so that's how you're going to get set up into TinkerCAD. And then each time you come back to TinkerCAD, you're going to do it the same way. You're going to enter your class code and you're going to enter your nickname, is what TinkerCAD calls it. Okay, fine. All righty. So what are we doing in TinkerCAD, right? We're going to learn some stuff, so we're going to go ahead and go to Learn. You click on Learn, and it comes up with some starters. There's these 4 here. If you click See All Starters, you'll see that there's 3 more that show up. These first 7, we're doing them all. Right, so this first video is going to just be on the first one, right? But then there's going to be a next video for the next one, or next video for the next one, and we're doing them all. So if you want to go ahead and work ahead, that's just fine, right? These videos, heck, you may not even need them, right? If you get in there, TinkerCAD helps you along the way. If you don't need the video, hey, skip the video. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. But if you get stuck and you decide you need some help, go watch the video. Don't start asking me for help. Don't start leaving comments and stuff like that. I find out that you didn't even watch these videos on it, okay? Come on now. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and start this first one right here. It's called Place It. Go ahead and click on here, right? And then here we go. This is the way that these tutorials work in TinkerCAD. There's gonna be some directions, some instructions over here on the left part of the screen, and then you have some way to control what page you're on. Right, so arrows to move through the different pages. Here it says 1 of 2. That means this is page 1, and there's 2 altogether. So the next page is going to be 2 of 2. Right, these things aren't made to be difficult. Right, you do need to read the directions. So I want to be super clear about that. Whenever my students get stuck almost like always the number one thing that they didn't do, the reason that they had a problem, I'm telling you, almost every time, is because they just didn't read the directions. They didn't read the directions, and they didn't know what to do. And I know you guys are smarter than that, right? So come on now. I know you can read. You're going to have to read. Just get used to it. That's how TinkerCAD works, right? So we're going to do this one together. We're going to read it together. It says right here, place it. Welcome to TinkerCAD. We're excited to have you with us. TinkerCAD is used to build all types of creations by adding and removing shapes from the design workspace. Blue graph paper stuff is the workspace. So let's add a shape to the work plane now. So there we go. So there's a picture of what it is we're trying to do. In case the directions aren't 100% clear to you, you can always click on this picture and get some kind of a help. Okay, instructions. I'm scroll down a little bit. Instructions. See the orange shape on the work plane? I'm talking about this thing right here. Hopefully you do see it, right? That's a hint. Hints help guide you as you get started, right? So this orange thing is here to help you. You're going to find the box shape in the shapes panel. See where it says basic shapes over here? Here's the box shape that they're talking about. So we have found it. We're going to do a normal left click on it and drag the box shape to the hint. Right? So I'm trying to put it on here. Right? And you try to do a good job. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. I think that's pretty close. Right? You can use the mouse wheel to scroll a little bit. And if this inspector window is in the way, you can click on this little triangle to make it small. So right, I've zoomed in a little bit, and I think that I'm right on target. But if you're not, you can try to move it again with the mouse. That's fine. What works for me is a lot of times if I'm off by just a little bit, I use the arrow keys. So if I push to the left, if I push to the right, up and down, I can give this thing a little nudge and get it to where I want it to be. All right, then it says continue on to the next step. Click to order next. You did it! Great work. Okay, congratulations. You've successfully started your journey to becoming a designer. Let's keep it going. And we will keep it going in just a second, but I want to make sure you understand. Right, I'm going to go ahead and reset this. Right, do you want to reset your current progress? Okay, yes, I do. Right, because I'm trying to show you something. Okay, and the thing I want to show you is I'm not going to follow directions. I'm not going to drag the box. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to click next over here, and then, whoa, it threw stars anyway. All right, I just want to be super clear about that. TinkerCAD, throwing stars like that, it does not mean that you're a good designer. It doesn't mean that you're a good engineer. It doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything, actually, except that you're on the last page. TinkerCAD always just throws stars on the last page. It's kind of silly. Doesn't mean anything. So the reason I'm showing you that is because I want you to understand that, right? TinkerCAD throwing stars doesn't mean that you get a gold star because you did it right. It just kind of always throws stars on the last page. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to look at the picture and make sure that the picture matches what you had. Right? That's the way that you can know for sure whether or not this thing has gone the way it was supposed to or not. Not just because it threw stars. Okay? Then when it says you're on the last page, 2 of 2 or 5 of 5 or 9 or 9 or whatever, you're on that last page, there's still an arrow here. You click over one more and it tells you lesson completed. You have completed this lesson. Congratulations. You can continue to take the next project called View It. And if you click continue here, it's going to take us on to the next project called View It. And this is the next one that I want you to do, but it's going to be a separate video, so I'm not going to be doing it right now. We're going to go ahead and finish up the video. Now, if you were in the classroom with me, the way that we would normally hold school, I would say before you click continue to go on to the next page, you would raise your hand. I would come around and just take a quick peek to make sure that, hey, everything looks the way it's supposed to, or I'd give you some help or some tips to help you get there if you're not, and then you would go on to the next project. Right? If you're working on these from your home, you're going to go ahead and just compare it to the picture, see if things look right the way that they're supposed to, and then I'm going to be able to review your progress through the website at the end of the week after we've completed our assignments for the week. Right? So it depends. At this point, it's looking like we're going to be starting out the year with distance learning, and we're actually not going to be meeting in the classroom at all at the beginning of the year. That's fine if you're watching this in later years. If it's not 2020 still, maybe we're in the same classroom. I hope that we are by then, right? And you would just go ahead and raise your hand when you're done. Anyways, that's the big idea. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.